Um, my name is Ravi Lam. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Hold on a second here. Let me just make sure you're logged in as a speaker. That might be the problem. 1 second. Oh, here you are. Screen sharing. Excellent. I'm not sure how to do that. Yes. It's a nice picture, though. Is this an issue of accessing the internet? Okay. Just so everybody knows, there's a spillover room right next door. They're going to be broadcasting this as well. Oh, I'm going to talk to a tech guy about Deb's picture. Okay, we're back.
Sorry for that. Anyway, thank you, Marty. My name is Ravi Lam.
Let me see what's going on.
I'm the CEO and the president of Thinkhat.
Can't hear you.
Oh, we can. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm the CEO and the president of Thinkhat. I would like to give a brief introduction about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My entrepreneurial journey started in New York, a small house in Roslyn, right? So we were one of the early pioneers in client-server computing, writing these high-performance device drivers, which was eventually acquired by Computer Associates for $1.2 billion, which was the largest acquisition at that time for for Long Island. You know, it's not the Silicon Valley of New York. But that journey actually made me learn lots of things, and I have been an entrepreneur ever since. But all the success that I had, I also had challenges. So right after the acquisition, Computer Associates had a scandal, and the 35-day month, and that led to stock crash and lots of things that happened after that. But more than that, I also had personal tragedies. So I lost my wife in a tragic way. And so the journey, you know, I had two children, small children at that time. And my daughter was much more affected than my son. And she went into a cocoon, like stopped talking outside of home. So when my son got accepted into Stanford, I moved from Long Island to Palo Alto, Bay Area. So to make her feel better, I was looking for something outside of school and home. So we were looking for some summer job. And my friends, recommended that I go and see Dr. Purley, who's doing research in UCSF. So me and my daughter, we went to this lab, like a field trip, right? So where Dr. Purley asked us to see through the microscope and see, what do you guys see? And we saw these blinking dots. And I didn't have any understanding, mostly biology. My background is all computer science. So my daughter just started high school at that time. So although she is doesn't speak outside, she likes to please daddy, right? So, hey, they look like heart cells. Ooh, how did they come about? Did they come from stem cells? Dr. Purley said, no, these didn't come from stem cells. These are iPSCs. Oh, what are these iPSCs? Induced pluripotent stem cells. We took subjects' skin cells, added 4 proteins to reverse it back to stem cell state, and then differentiate into heart cells. I was like, oh, is that science fiction? Like, and it turned out, we came back, and the those 4 proteins that were added are called Yamanaka factors. And we were in Yamanaka lab, and Professor Yamanaka won Nobel Prize for discovering that, right? So I was excited about that, and my daughter got excited. And then she did a project with Dr. Purley, which is finding the guide RNA given a target gene or a disease. So I got involved because it's a computational issue. So, and I helped my daughter understand the machine learning aspects of that, um, and her cousin's friends showed interest, and they came and joined her, and she started then explaining to others. So that is the first transformational experience that she went through, and that was very, very heartwarming for me to see her explaining things outside of a home. So I felt, there's something in here that I also want to be involved. So from computer science, starting companies, I decided to focus my energy and find purpose in creating companies in this space. Dr. Purley, who is the principal investigator at the Yamanaka lab, UCSF, then became my chief scientific officer. And we started this Thinkhat, which focuses on building companies upstream life sciences to downstream healthcare. Can you go to the next screen? So I have invested more than 20 million of my own funds into this, creating this platform to create, my family office, invested into this. At the intersection of AI, ML, there's transformational things are happening in that space. Obviously, there's a lot of hype, but there's also a lot of opportunity. So life sciences and healthcare, AI, ML. So we believe there's an inflection point happening at the, AI, ML, to the digitization of medicine through mRNA, iPSCs, CRISPR technologies, to how the care is delivered, post-COVID. So we believe there's a lot of opportunities to create innovative companies in this space. Go to the next slide. Yeah. And I just want to spend a little bit of why this is important, right? So typically it takes about 8 to 12 years for a therapy or a drug to come to market, right? So, but with the digitization of medicine, which means, we were there at the mRNA conference. Dr. Peter Marks of FDA is looking into separation of product from the platform. What that means is that the product, mostly in the gene and cell therapy space, the protein or the sequence, to the platform, which can be the delivery, like lipid nanoparticles, or the frameworks that are used. So if there are 12 steps that are there, and six steps are part of the platform, you don't have to repeat that again. So what that means is that you will start seeing therapies coming to the market in a matter of less than 6 years, or we are optimistic that the future is therapies coming sooner to the market, and we want to prepare and create platforms to take advantage of the FDA direction. So, and also more than that, there is China Plus Act, which is Biosecure Act that is happening, which means significant portion of the research that is in the biology as well as in AI, they would like to be here in the US. And we believe, preparing for that is also, so we have structured some of our companies in such a way to take advantage of the direction that the policymakers are making. So go to the next slide. Next. Okay. So most of the time, I mean, after my exit, I had another exit, which was sold to PwC. After that, I felt, I could be a VC, or uh, since my background is building companies, why not take an approach that is in the middle, right? Most significant portion of the VCs, if you're not in the top 20 or 30%, you are essentially not getting the deals, best deals. You're chasing, and by the time you get in, it may be too late, and the opportunity is not cost effective or like from an investment perspective, right? So, and also to find some opportunities, because now there is a landscape level changes are happening. Most of the ideas are in their infancy. So we felt we want to take some portion of certain problem areas and challenges to build companies surrounding around that with scientists and engineers that are working towards that, right? So instead of chasing, we felt like some opportunities we believe that will make an impact, we would rather build it part of Thinkhat ecosystem, which is why we are going with the studio model. Typically studios just go on to like advisory to management level, but we are a full stack, which means we also implement and execute it. So we have more than 120 scientists and engineers that work on these initiatives. So what that means is that 40% of the companies fail because of poor execution, not because they don't have the right scientists. So to provide a framework and a platform for them to succeed, they don't need to worry about, scientists don't need to worry about legalities, accounting, to how to actually implement how hard it is to hire machine learning scientists that are great, right? So it is not, so we feel like we are creating a platform to create these companies at scale. So we have three models which we follow, which is founder model, which essentially we have internal scientists, and also we have an advisory panel of the 60 advisors. We ideate and go through a 128 process to determine if it is worth pursuing, right? And that is actually a model that is internal. And we have a co-founder model, which is scientists or engineers, if you have a bright idea, come and use our platform to execute faster and to bring to the market, sooner, right? So that is a co-founder model. And we also have a innovation partner model, which we go to. Most of the pharma companies have their own innovation centers, but not small to medium scale companies that have lots of good data, right? But not don't have the bandwidth or don't have the talent to do the innovations internally. So and also hospital systems, right? So we have good success in collaborating with them to actually be the venture partner for their innovations and the data that there is. Data is very critical, right? So most of the NLPs that you see, the transformers is based on hundreds of years of natural language that is already there. But if you look at the biological processes and some of the data that is there in the health systems is hidden. And not only hidden, it does not exist in mRNA space, right? So we have wet labs that can generate some of this data given a target gene or a disease, right? So we are excited about where AI is taking, and we feel we want to apply these computational and machine learning and various aspects of the science behind biology to physics and everything else to create these innovative companies. So we have a cohort of about 12 companies right now. Encode Biosciences provides sequence as a service, which is highly stable to provide a sequence that is specific to a tissue type and the target disease. Renew Life Sciences is cell reprogramming. That's where Dr. Purley, who is the Chief Scientific Officer for us from Yamanaka Lab, he also was the original authors of CRISPR tool technologies. So this actually partial reprogramming helps you to rejuvenate cells. And we also have on the healthcare side, Noki, which is a no more keyboard, a play word for that, to automate various tasks in the provider and hospital systems. I'm not going to go into all the details of these companies, but Formed is a care simulation platform. And one platform that I would like to say, which is close to my heart, is OnCare. As we say that most of the time, the care is within the walls of the hospital systems, but most of the time when it comes to mental health, it is a continuous thing. You don't know who are you going to call at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? When you have an issue. So how do you help those people? So we believe the technology has advanced with AI. So you can use now Wi-Fi devices, right, that can detect various physiological biomarkers, including early signs of depression, right, with different modalities, and coordinate that with a mental health or a psychologist behind scene to provide care beyond clinical settings and in a continuous manner. We believe there is lots of exciting opportunities are there in the space because post-COVID, even CMS started recently announced 4 CPT codes for you make use of, right? So this AI and device, lots of this data that is there, you can then use to provide care even when you are outside, in a room setting or in a RTF facilities. We are excited about all this, what is happening, in this space, and we have my team here. You are welcome to talk to us and learn more about what we are doing. We are also, offering the first fund here with one thing good about it is that we are offering preferred 2x return, essentially before anybody else. I have put in my own money, but we are offering preferred 2x liquidation preference.
Is this a fund or is it a holding company?
It's a fund.
So you're putting in the assets you've already invested into the fund.
So how it works is the ideation and lots of things that have happened comes the part of the deal flow. So it's not just our own. See, as we mentioned, right? It's not like we want to restrict. That means your scaling will become a issue, right? For if you are to pure venture studio, right? So we have this foundation model, founder model, where we see opportunity, but we don't want to chase, right? So those are the ones that are part of the deal flow. But there is other deal flow, right? As I mentioned, by being an innovation partner to VC firms, also pharma companies, we get the deal flow. But what we are offering is that, right, to not to have any conflict of interest or anything, right? So we are offering 2x preference for liquidation. What it means is that before I take any funds, I put in more than $20 million already in. Before I take any money, you have to make at least 2 to 3x before we take money.
Okay, and what's the size of the fund that you're raising?
$100 million.
Is there going to be a first close?
We just started.
I know, but is there going to be a number like a first close, like 30 million?
And that is to be determined. Like, okay. So
the answer is yes.
We have,
will be.
we have, the people are not here. We, Matt Constantino, also Anita Premoda, who is all very well-known people in this space. Anita is ex-CFO of Epic, and Matt is president of Delos Capital.
So we've run over time, a little bit of questions. We've got about, I'll give a couple of minutes for questions from the audience. Since, Ravi has come here and talked about what he's doing and some of the great investments he's making in the healthcare and AI space. Maybe you can discuss how you expect these timetables to get compressed, right? I'm going to go back to that slide that you have where you're compressing the timetables.
Yes.
Because I mean, I think your argument was that people are getting older. AI has come about. I mean, so we work with Every Cure. Every Cure is building a model to evaluate every single off-patent drug that's out there for repurposing, right? And they're grading them. And my thought is that every venture will be graded in healthcare within 5 to 10 years, with whatever their probability of success is, right? Are you doing something along the same lines, or what are your thoughts?
See, our focus, I mean, not repurposed right now, because we believe the AI and computational, how we apply some of these things will compress, and also the direction in which we are going, right? Mostly we're focusing on the gene and cell therapies. Because that's where the precision, we are actually going to be sponsoring the Precision Medicine Conference coming up next week, where the upstream of life sciences and the downstream of healthcare right now will come closer. Which what it means is that right now you don't have to, lots of these therapies that are coming in, right, they're personalized. So they come directly to you and personalized to you. There's a lots of information that is there. We collect 30% of the world's data is in healthcare, right? Whether it is, in the EHRs or genomics, proteomics, transcriptomics, all this data is combined to provide personalized care, right? Not only used for the discovery, but also to provide care that is tailored to you, not, tested on 100 people, right? So
just as a comment, so what Every Cure found was that when these large pharmaceutical companies investigate a molecule, they'll kind of do like a research session where all the researchers say, well, we have this new molecule, what can we do with it? And they'll put out 10 or 20 ideas about diseases to tackle, and the marketing or product guy will come in and say, well, this is the one where the most money is available, let's tackle that. And then once it gets off patent, they ignore the other usages, right? And so what Every Cure has gotten is that they have the ability, they've gotten permission because they're a nonprofit from all of these large pharmaceutical companies to go through their databases of commentary and notes and to find out the other possible repurposings that the scientists at the time said existed. And that really gives them great insight into, what possibly, and so the genesis of Every Cure is that there was a guy at Penn Med School who in his third year was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he had 6 months to live. And he said, what can I do? If I go through the regular FDA process, it's going to be 10 years, I'm dead. If I go through an accelerated FDA process, it's 4 years, I'm dead. So he said, why don't we look at off-patent drugs? He found that there was a pathway for the Castleman's disease progression, and he found a blocker through an off-patent drug, and he's still alive 14 years later. He's cured 5 other diseases that way. And now he's building an AI model to kind of do predictive. But one of the things is that there's data that's already available from prior researchers. So I'm just wondering if you're, doing anything along those lines where you might have access to databases that are out there that have information like that.
Yeah, so that's what we feel, combining the EHR data with the various mutations that are specific to the mutation level, right? So I mean, obviously it's not there today, but we see that like you could get selected based on the mutation that you have that has happened, like so. And the physician or the providers should be able to prescribe that precise medication to you. So, and also become part of a clinical trial, right? So, because most of the time clinical trials are pretty much like in a large hospital systems, is not accessible to the smaller to medium scale hospitals, and also the diversity is a big issue even for the models that are there. So we believe the future is much more democratization of this clinical trial process, and AI is going to help in a big way.
The regulatory landscape is changing, and the technology is changing so fast. What are some of the changes that you see?
Yeah. I think the primary thing was how the FDA is moving forward, right? The separation of product and the platform, right? So that is very important, right? So you don't have to repeat the same things again and again, right? So if you could separate what is a product and what is a platform. If just a sequence changes, you don't have to go through all the clinical trial process again. So, which is very important. And we believe mRNA is a great candidate for that. And ENCODE Biosciences, which is a platform to create the optimized, very highly selective sequences, is, where the industry is going.
Fantastic. One more question.
I just wanted to ask, how is your daughter?
Oh, thank you for asking. She's my dear. That's outside of work. I know I spend most of my time with her, and she's now at Caltech and doing computational neuroscience. Yes, thanks.
Great job. Thanks so much. And we're going to see you at dinner tonight, I hope, right?
Yes.